Hey everyone, it's Alexander Seery, author of the ebook Habits of Success and founder of Entrepreneur. And today I'm with an incredible guy who is a serial entrepreneur, property investor, developer and public speaker and founder and chairman of the Pulse Trading Group. Daniel Hill, it's an absolute honour for your time today. Really appreciate it. How you doing?
Very well. How you
Good.
doing?
Good stuff. Yeah, very well, thank you.
Excellent.
So normally what we start off with the entrepreneur interviews is basically find out a bit about you and the businesses and how you've become the successful entrepreneur you are today. Okay. So I'm really intrigued to start off with is that where are you from and what was you like growing up as a child?
Yeah, so grew up in Bedford. You know where Bedford is. Stayed there, did schooling, A-levels, worked on the buildings. Figured out pretty quick that working on the buildings was working on the buildings, so I wanted to look at what to do after that. Came to Nottingham for university in 2004, I think, 2004, 2005, and then stayed here ever since, really.
Okay,
so.
great. And what did you study at uni?
Strategic entrepreneurship.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, growing up as a child, did you have kind of any influential person that you looked up to? Was it a specific entrepreneur or your dad or who was it that kind of...
I think growing up, I had a really good balance. So my parents separated when I was really young, and I had a really good balance because my mum's side and my family that side are all about the good, like having fun, not worrying about this being too serious and like just having good wholesome fun. And then my dad's side is more career driven, progression, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
So I found I had a really, really beautiful sweet spot in the middle of balance of keeping your feet on the ground and being real about it, and also driving forward. So that was good. I had a great business school teacher, Mr. Whitley. Mr. Whitley, if you're watching this, thank you very much. He was just amazing. Mr. Whitley and Mr. Jones. Mr. Whitley was my business school teacher, and Mr. Jones was my form teacher, and both of them just completely got me what I wanted to do. Okay. Yeah, it was very powerful.
And why did you kind of really think they were influential, and what was it about them?
So I was probably I wasn't your best person at school. I was a little bit naughty, not a class clown, but definitely played the game a bit. And again, I had like a real sweet spot in the fact that I would, not wear my tie to school. I'd wear trainers, but then I'd also be the one that organised all the year discos and events and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was completely on board with the kids, if you like, the cool kids. Yeah. And I was completely on board with the teachers. Yeah. So I just used to get away with everything. Right. And where, for example, I'd overstep the mark sometimes, when you're still finding your way and understanding what's okay and what's not. Yeah. If I'd overstep the mark, they'd pull me in, Mr. Whitley or Mr. Jones, and just have a word and be like, look, we can't protect you from this stuff. Just don't do that. Right. Don't do that. And that was good. Yeah.
Great stuff. And growing up as a child, did you have any like particular fears that you was kind of afraid of, or
being broke? Like reasonably modest beginnings, and you don't want to see your red phone bills, your stuff like that. That was only real fear probably is just being broke, never wanting to be broke. That was quite. That was definitely key.
That's really interesting. And with regards to what were the like early signs you kind of knew you was going to be an entrepreneur?
Like literally as far back as you can remember.
Right. Okay.
I've always bought stuff, sold stuff. Whatever environment I was in, I'd find out what's the thing to sell, and I'd sell it. Do you remember Pogs and Slammers?
Yeah.
Do you remember Pogs and Slammers?
Pogs, yeah.
So I used to go to school and play Pogs and Slammers with people, win all their Pogs and Slammers, and then sell them back. I had this briefcase where I used to sell them back for money. I used to trade calculators. I'd just play Pogs and Slammers, win them, sell them back to them, win them again. And then I had like a Pog shop, run out my garage.
Wow.
Had that, and then just always constantly finding a way to make money really.
Wow. And I've heard you speak before, and there's an amazing story about one of your managers being not very happy with you when you kind of went into the job role.
Toys R Us?
Yeah, I think that was it.
So I've only ever had one job, which was Toys R Us, and that was on my placement year at uni. And for the first time ever, I found myself in this employed environment where you had bureaucracy, rules, procedures. And I think I was 20 at the time, and I was still very, I think I probably thought I knew more than I knew. Yeah. But that level of confidence allowed me to, step outside the box, if you like. Yeah. And I looked at what they were doing as a retailer and just started to see things that I thought was better. Probably in hindsight, shouldn't have said the retailer's name at the beginning of the video, but it's the only job I've ever had, so it wouldn't take long to track me down. I started looking at what they were doing and thinking, that could be done different, this could be done different. I don't know why they're doing that. And started moving things around and got disciplined because, I was putting stuff on the wrong pegs. And then my store manager went away for a weekend. So I re-merchandised the store again, or the department I was in again. And then basically faced a formal reprimand because breaching store policy, it was it was ridiculous. Then she went away for a week. So I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. Re-merchandised, retrained some of the team, moved a load of stuff around, and she came back after a holiday and basically said, we need to have a meeting. And I was like, obviously, I'm going to get sacked. So I sat down, and the store manager walked into reception, sat down. The area manager walked in and sat down, and I was thinking, this is it. And they said, cut a long story short, they said, we don't know what you think you're doing, but whatever you've done, you've increased sales by 40% to 2.5 million.
Wow.
We'd like to promote you as the first ever placement student to get promoted. We'd like to offer you a promotion to become the assistant store manager. They gave me the award for multimedia manager of the year, which is the whole country. People have been doing it, 15, 20 years. I've been there 6-8 months. And they offered me the opportunity to launch and open a brand new prototype store down south that they'd never even, brand new way they were going to do business in the UK.
Phenomenal.
And I learned two things then. One was don't be afraid to look outside the box, because those rules and procedures were there for a reason. But the things I was reading between the lines was not. It was just to create value rather than break the rules. So understand which ones to bend and which ones not to break. But then secondly, also, there's no way I'm ever going to get a job ever again. I'm going to do everything I can to never have to get a job again. So I went back to uni, got my degree, started the clothing company, scaled that, and then things just went from there. So
fantastic, that's an amazing story.
It was an interesting experience. It was. I
can hear that all the time.
It wasn't as amusing at the time, but. It was good.
I mean, do you find that kind of a habit you see yourself getting into, where you kind of look at things and you kind of, that could be better, and you let your mind run with it and you see things and patterns?
I'm obsessed with it. It's addicted. I walk around all day, every day. That in the business, problem being a perfectionist is that's not good enough, that's not good enough. The reality is everyone else is seeing this would be good, this would be great, and you're constantly looking for that 0.5% to make it remarkable. If you look at all of our companies, any company we've ever started or invested in, they're all niche businesses. The clothing company, what we did there, nobody ever did before. Multi-let, nobody has ever built a bespoke national multi-let management company. Property entrepreneur, business in property. It's all just very, very niche. And that's where you observe the masses and do the opposite. That's where the value is, in my opinion.
Talk more about the clothing company.
So clothing company. So this is when you look at why people make money as entrepreneurs. One of the way normally is the problem solution concept. There's a problem. There's a solution. So I was at university, and Nottingham Law School for decades had produced their own hoodies. So the Nottingham Law School logo on the front, Nottingham Law School on the back, and they sold. There was this big. They made them 2 or 3 times a year, and they just sold. Just really, really easy to sell. And I thought, I want a business school one, but they didn't have one.
Right.
So I went to the business school. The problem was I wanted one and there wasn't one. So I went to the business school and said, can I do them? So I got a license to create the product. So I did that for the business school, and I spent my whole student loan. This is my final year of uni. Got all my student loan in. Spent the whole money on hoodies.
Wow.
Not on a business school hoodies, and they turned up. I can remember it outside Byron House in Nottingham. It was August, September it was, and these boxes of hoodies turned up. I'm there in my cash register. A couple of guys give me a hand to sell them, and the radio comes on and it says, "Heat wave." It's the hottest day of the year, hottest day on record. And I'm standing there with 400 or 500 hoodies, thinking this is going to go completely wrong. 9 o'clock came, nobody. 10 o'clock came, nobody. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, like the exams or whatever turned out, and they were queuing down Shakespeare Street, round the corner. By the end of the day, we pretty much sold out everything we had.
Wow.
And then we got a license for all the other schools, sold those. We then went to other universities and scaled that. We then got the contract to do the graduation clothing and the merchandise. And yeah, it's all just, that was like the problem solution really. What doesn't exist and why.
Wow. That was an element of risk, kind of spending your student loan.
Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound, that was. Yeah, that was, yeah.
And would you say you look at risk more differently to other people as an entrepreneur? Would you look at it not as a thing that could go wrong, but more as something that could go right?
One of my, so I've got loads of weaknesses, same as everyone else. One of my skills is I'm very strategic.
Okay.
And when you talk about doing things, there's no doubt in doubt. Someone told me once, there's no doubt in doubt. If you're doubting something, it's not doubt, it's not right. Something's missing there.
Yeah.
And when you front load stuff, so when you think strategically, all of our businesses run in 12-month cycles. They're broken down into 4 quarters, 4 seasons that we use. And all of the strategy happens up front. So all of the questions, research, debate, challenge happens at the beginning, modelling, frameworks, that sort of thing. That all happens at the beginning. And then when you press go, there's no time then for questioning it. It's like the risk is the risk, but you've got to go into it being 100% confident you'll execute.
Right, okay.
And there's nothing I've committed to previously. I never think, not arrogantly, but we just can't fail. I genuinely don't think we can fail. You can only fail if you can only fail when you agree to give up. That's the thing. If you set out, if you go, if I was like, want to become a piano player, I don't have the passion, I don't have the interest, it's just not going to get what it needs, it will fail. Mm-hmm. If you commit to something commercially, you should front load it, do all the research up front, and then commit to it and just execute, absolutely execute, and do it in a 12-month cycle. And I'm happy with that risk. When we make that decision, scaling multi-let this year, we're happy with the risks, we understand the dangers, we're going to have growing pains, but we can't fail. You can only fail if you agree to give up, and we won't give up. It might take longer, it might cost more, but we won't fail.
Because you're always executing consistently and adapting to kind of any kind of change you might get.
It's just failure is not an option. When you say you're going to do something, that's the difference between a lot of successful people and non-successful. Yeah. It's like the value of your word. If you say, be very careful about what you agree to do. Your word is everything. If you say you're going to do something to your investors, your shareholders, your team, that's it. That's the absolute. Blood, sweat, tears. Wow. Night shifts, whatever it takes. Your hair falling out. Yeah. The lot. That's the reality of business, and in my experience at least. And it's just it is. If we say we're going to do it, we'll do it.
That's amazing.
And we've always delivered. It's taken longer, it's cost more, it's had problems we've never seen. But if we say we're going to do something, we do it.
And I bet that builds up quite a positive reputation when, as a company owner, that you're going to execute and do that thing and you follow through with it.
I think there's part of our culture is a can-do attitude. There's never an excuse. There's never a reason. No, it's just what's the problem? What's the solution? Great. And the whole team are there to solve problems. And fast growth companies, we've PPN UK, which is our property group, that's been in the top 2% of companies in the UK for the last 3 years. When you operate at that level, we're scaling Moore's Law level, double in size every year for 5 years. That is painful growth. You experience everything from, breakdowns in the culture, you'll experience service failure for your clients, you'll experience growing pains, change management. You experience all of it, and it is hard. But when the team are on board with that, and you have a very clear vision, you run it in 12-month cycles, 4 seasons, it's very powerful, very, very powerful.
Now, you have a number of companies, and kind of what I want to ask you is, how do you oversee and manage all those different companies in different locations? How do you kind of ensure they are scaling correctly and things are going in alignment with kind of your overall goal? How do you kind of manage that?
Yeah, so with the larger companies, like the multi-office ones where you've got say 30, 40 people in them, a lot of that is about clarity, KPIs, framework, roles and responsibilities, absolute clarity on the business model. So in our business plan every year, there's absolute clarity as to how things work. Managing expectations is really important for the whole team is like, you know, you can expect this of the company and the company expects this of you. Everyone in the business should know what that is, like black and white.
Yeah.
Having a very clear, so we call it a management and audit framework. So a management and audit framework with KPIs, so everyone understands how what's expected of them and you know how they'll be managed. That's important. Like having a really strong culture. Our culture is second to none. Our culture is, you know, if you were to spend some time in head office and meet some of the team, it is a world-class culture, and that's very powerful.
Right.
Transparency. We have WhatsApp groups for everything. Head office, AVs, BDMs, individual offices, sales teams.
Wow.
And that they go from 5 a.m. in the morning till 11 at night. You know, it's like ping, 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 ping.
Wow.
Huge levels of communication.
That's great. I've never heard that before. That's really, really good.
Yeah, it's huge. There's a formalised one called Slack, which is the Slack's the corporate version, if you like.
Okay.
But we do absolutely fine with WhatsApp at the moment.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. And Multilect UK is exceeding 1,000 units. I think.
So that'll clear 1,000 units this year. Yeah.
Wow. And how do you kind of ensure you're putting kind of certain things into place that you can kind of cope with that amount? Because that's a lot of units, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's over £100,000 worth of rent a week. It's a lot of what you have when you got like 100. I'm writing an article at the minute called Growing Pains: the reality of going from 100 tenants to 1,000.
Yeah.
And like what worked then, you know, the guys who joined you for the 100 rooms, they're the ones who really, you know, created the launch pad for the business. They came for the night shifts, you know, the trainers and t-shirts and all that. You have to have that to launch a company.
Right. Yeah.
But then the business model will change. So it changed at 200 units, it changed at 500 units, and then it changes again at 1,000 units. The business model is really, really important. And we talk about scale. We're like fast growth companies. We talk about scale like a piece of elastic. So if you think about a piece of elastic, you stretch it and stretch it and stretch it until it's, you know, it's getting thin, damaged, showing signs of weakness, and then you pull it back in again, repair it and stretch again. Where fast growth companies seem to get it wrong is, well, in our experience at least, more companies choke to death than starve. You know, a lot of people nowadays, you don't have to, without being too like crude or blasé, it's not hard to make revenue now. You know, there's plenty of money sloshing about, there's plenty of opportunities. Lots of people do that, but then they think growth for growing's sake, you know, the chest beating egos playing in your head, I want to be the biggest, the blah, blah, blah. We all deal with that. But the reality is, you know, you've got to be able to process it. And we use 4 seasons. So in the autumn, it's all about strategy. In the winter, it's all about operations, systems and finance. That's what we're in now.
Great.
So if you go around head office now or in the offices, it's all change, huge investment in operations. Spring's all about recruitment, retraining the team, getting ready for the summer, warming the tyres. And then the summer's fast expansion. We do like 65% of our lettings and growth during the summer period.
Wow.
And it's having that cycle and having everyone bought into that really, because if you think about a race car, if you raced it, you know, full pelt round the track all day, every day. If Usain Bolt got up and ran 100-metre sprints 7 days a week, you know, 52 weeks a year, you'd just be knackered. You have to race, which is your expansion, then train, recuperate, repair.
That's great.
All that sort of thing. So, having a very cyclical nature to the growth like that. It's not like that or like that. It's like that. So
makes sense.
That makes a big difference. That gives you fast growth.
And I mean, tell me a bit more about the Pulse Trading Group, because there's several companies within that group, isn't there?
Yeah. So we've started 13 companies, and there's still 10. We still own 10 companies to date.
Wow.
They range from small 1- and 2-man band style lifestyle businesses. So like our disco company, our old events company. So small lifestyle businesses up to multi-office, multi-million pound, national, international organisations. So we've got a good spread, and there's pros and cons of all of them. We've got Pulse Studios, which is our design company, specialises in branding and marketing for companies in the property industry. Pulse Discos, which is our events company, corporate events, discos, mobile discos, weddings. We've got a maintenance company where we run all the maintenance for Multilet. I should really be able to reel them off. We have the portfolio management company, Multilet, Portfolio Builder, UK's most oversubscribed multi-let sourcing and development company. We have Property Entrepreneur, which is our training company.
Yeah.
Manor House Developments, which is our residential and commercial development company. Wow. I'm sure there's like a couple more. Our clothing companies. Yeah, I knew there was.
Wow.
Our clothing companies, Pulse Student Graduation, Pulse Customised Clothing. They supply the likes of, Vodafone, Playboy, London Clubs International, some of the bigger names. So lots of different companies.
I mean, as a leader within those companies, I mean, what kind of the most important decisions you have to make as a leader to ensure that things are going correctly and things are going the way they should be going?
Yeah. Like the culture, the
culture.
Leading by example is, I believe, lead by example. How fast you respond to messages, how much you interact with the team, how you deal with problems, how you handle pressure, what time you start, what time you finish, what's right, what's wrong. That's leadership. From my experience, is like the whole business and the teams is just an extension, really, of the way to be a good person and the way to do the right thing. And in business, things go wrong, but it's not what you do when they go wrong. It's not what you do when things go right. It's how you behave when things go wrong.
Right. Okay.
That's really important. Do the right thing, even if it's at your own expense. If we have projects that overrun for clients because we've made a mistake, it's our pocket. That comes out of our pocket, not our clients. Where you make a mistake, you should take absolute responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Nurturing the culture is really important, and I lead from the back. Like my leadership style is leading from the back.
Okay.
I'm very rarely in the office. I'll be a day a week maximum, really, in the office.
Okay.
And then I empower the teams. Yeah. We have a strategy day every year. The teams stand up and they're empowered to take the business forward.
Okay.
They create the strategy. They create the growth. They create their own personal development plans. They create their own promotions. They create their own. We're launching 2 new businesses this year. One's already launched, and one's in the process of being launched. They were all basically created by the team. So leading from the back, really, is investing in people, empowering them, and equally stopping the rot. Like, people are people and organisations and organisations, and the default is bitching, negativity.
Yeah.
That's the default, and that's what happens in most companies. That's why most people come to us.
Yeah.
Most of our team members want to get away from that.
Yeah.
That's really important, but you've got to be able to. The reality of a fast growth company where there's always problems, every day there's problems, trying to maintain a positive environment in that is really hard. So you've got to make sure the team are aware of what's acceptable, what's not, what's the poison, the rot. Yeah. If you start to see things break out, as a leader, you've got to isolate that, deal with it, and push things forward, even if it means parting way with people at times. The culture is everything.
Yeah, and how do you build that culture within your companies? How do you kind of align that with the staff you have? How do you?
Yeah, so one thing is, all other businesses call them staff. We don't call people staff. Like one of the things from our culture building is in our business plan, in our values, in our onboarding, is we say that staff wear a luminous yellow jackets that say staff across the back. And they herd people through music festivals, getting drunk abuse shouted at them, they're functional people. That's staff. We're team, like we have a team. They're team members.
That's really good.
They're here to win championships.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So that we're a team. We're all on the same team. We're all driving the same direction.
And that's quite a big difference. Like hearing from staff to team, it is quite a big difference, a positive difference. Yeah, I've never heard that before. I think it's really good.
So team's really important. Leading from the back is just, the experience I had on my work placement was that the instruction came from the top, filtered down, and actually by the time the instruction arrived at the ground, it was so diluted or far away from what it should be, it was just wrong. So what we do is I lead from the back. It's the team that drive the businesses. And when if you think that, so I made these mistakes when we were younger, or when I was younger, like 2007, 2009, 2011, I wrote some like business plans and had some management, approaches that just didn't work. Like really didn't work. Really horrendous. I started wearing a tie at one point. I was just like, I read Good to Great, Jim Collins. And you read that?
Yeah.
And I was like, right, this is where it was too soon. It was like really too soon. Like ties, guys. And it just killed it. It killed the startup buzz. Everyone wanted trainers and t-shirts. So one of the things was is to to lead from the back, and rather than build a business plan and try and help try and get people to help you achieve your dream, is find out what their dream is, find out what their aspiration is for every single person in the organisation, from your admin team up to your senior management team. Find out what their aspirations are. Get them to tell you what their dream is for the next 1, 3, 5 years, and then do everything you can to help them achieve their dream.
Okay.
And when they write their plan at the beginning of the year that this is what they want to achieve, the only rule that at the strategy day is that it has to be commercially viable. They have to prove that they want to achieve this. They want to promote themselves, recruit a new team member, start a new business, start a new department.
Wow. Okay.
They do anything they want, but they have to present how it's commercially viable, and then we can coach them on that and support them in strategy, things like that.
Wow.
But when they present and say, this is what I want to achieve, it's commercially viable. What you're then doing is supporting somebody else to achieve their goal, and the natural output is that it's commercially viable, rather than this is what the company wants. Get on board or don't, and that is game changing. Really game changing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, what are your core values as a kind of leader? What in your companies? What are they?
Yes, exactly the same. My personal values are exactly the same as the company values.
Great,
okay. Our core essence is service. So I'm a service-based person. I get my enjoyment, engagement, reward from serving other people. So service is the same as the businesses. One of our mantras is impressing every client every time. It's all about service. Service is we're a service-based business. That's the core essence. And then we have 3 core values. So the first is innovation, creativity, embracing new technology, change, always innovating to be the best we can be. The second is growth, growing personally, growing as a company, fast growth, growing and developing the business, having a growth mindset and understanding that it's like if you go skiing, if you go on piste, chances of falling over are pretty slim. If you know what you're doing, chances are pretty slim. It's safe. It's well travelled. You just that's the non-growth direction, if you like. If you go off piste, the chance of falling over is significantly higher. The chance of getting injured is significantly higher. But the environment is, higher adrenaline, exciting, fresh, new, and that's the growth. That's, as a company, that's where we operate. We're happy that we have growth appetite, and for that we expect challenges, change, service failure. We expect what comes there, so growth personally and professionally. And then finally, value. Our third core value is value, which is basically adding value to the life of others and adding value to the business. So our clients, what we're always building is always to make someone's life easier or better or faster or more lucrative. Our teams, our business is here to add value to people's lives. We create and nurture an environment where highly talented people want to work. That's, if you can create that, it's really, really powerful. And adding value to the business, making sure that we're constantly investing in the business to make it the best that it can be to deliver all of those objectives. So
and I've heard the terminology where leaders create leaders, and if I was going to a leadership role for the first time, or someone you knew, what kind of piece of best advice would you give them if there could be just one?
Well, I've already covered it, but lead from the back would be my biggest thing. Is lead from the back. Is don't try and get other people to achieve your goals. Find out what the goals and objectives are of others and help them to achieve that. That would be one. But
it can be quite hard as an entrepreneur. You're like, you've got to let the team go and kind of do their thing.
And it's not your business as well. It's our business. Don't ever say this is my business. It's not. They're not my businesses. It's our business. It's our business as a team. It's here to deliver for all of us. And we give full transparency. Multi-let scaled this year. So myself as managing director and the financial director both agreed not to take a salary for a year. And on top of that, put in significant amounts of capital to scale the business. But it's in the business plan. So everyone knows what's online. We've put that in. That's one of our contributions.
That is phenomenal.
And you get a lot of buy-in from that. So I say that if you lead well, there's no carrot and stick. If you can lead well, people should have enough money that they don't have to worry about making rent, And then when it goes well, everyone should do well. You know, if you're taking bonuses, increasing your salary, the team should get exactly the same. But money is not the most important for the right people. Money is not the most important objective. It's there. It's required, but it's things like growth, progression, culture, buy-in. You know, values. All of that is, as a leader, is that, you know, that's really, really powerful.
Wow, it's amazing. And what would you say is that your passion? Because I'm listening to you speak, and you've got this kind of passion in your voice about your companies, your team, the team's business and your business. Is that your passion? Would you say?
Definitely, 100%. Yeah, my like, I love it. Like I'm addicted to it. You know, I just can't turn off. My brain just is constantly thinking about, and the growth element of me as well. You know, it's really hard to. Every now and again, you know, there'll be a moment where I'm like, yeah, this is really good, like, enjoying it. No, I'm really good. This is where we want to be, but it's always the next thing.
Yeah.
I've just moved into my new house,
right? Okay.
And that's been like, you know, 18 months in the making, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, and we're just about finished being like redecorated and all that, and it's you know exactly what we want.
Oh, that's amazing.
And you know, someone was saying the other day, you know, Claire was saying, you know, Claire, my fiance, was saying, you know, this is where we're going to be forever, and I'm thinking, I'm already on to the next thing. You know, I'm thinking, right, you know, the next house is going to, and that can be a bit exhausting as a growth mindset. It's never big enough, it's never fast enough, but I am content. I'm so happy. You know, I love the team. I love the businesses. I have the most amount of pride doing our annual awards and quarterly awards. I love seeing people go through personal challenges and then come out, you know, push themselves. Yeah, I'm very proud, very passionate about it. Like that is, you know, that's what I'm here. Yeah. That was what I wanted to achieve as an entrepreneur. And, you know, that's where we are.
I can tell, definitely. And with regards to kind of a startup business, I mean, what was the kind of one experience you thought, oh my God, this is really hard, the really tough experience you went through where you thought, oh shit, this is going wrong?
Yeah.
Can you remember thinking away?
One of my business partners says fail fast, and that is really important. Always, you know, just push forward. You know, the quicker you're failing, the quicker you're progressing. That's really, really important. Some examples of, like, I've had some bad experiences, like deals gone wrong, not property deals, more business deals, deals that have gone wrong, investments that I've made that, you know, I do completely differently. The clothing company that I told you about, so we got the license to sell these school hoodies, they were called then, license to sell those, and then the best place to sell them was at the Freshers Fair. So again, this was 2009, so I'd done year one of the clothing company, put all my student money into it, then took all that money out again and had, you know, again, in for a penny, in for a pound. I don't know whether I'd do so much of that nowadays, but again, at that stage, it's all you've got, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Put all the money into launching the Freshers Fairs. So I don't know if at university they do like the Freshers Fair at the beginning of the year. It's ridiculously expensive to get in there, but it's the first port of call. You know, that's where you sell. Your data capture, your brand exposure, your sales. I put everything into the Freshers Fair. All the money into the stand, the stock, the rebrand, everything that we had into it, and literally the week before the Freshers Fair, the Students' Union brought up basically a legal suit against us.
Oh really? Wow.
Because we were selling hoodies and they were selling different hoodies.
Wow.
And they realised the market share. We were selling. Bear in mind, we were a start-up, like less than 12 months. We were selling units in probably in the thousands of units, and that was big competition for the Students' Union. So they did everything they could to try and stop us, and that's not what you need. One-man band against, literally one-man band with, I remember, you know, like my hoodie on and these boxes of hoodies, one-man band against the Students' Union, the body, you know.
Wow.
And they challenged, like, we had this going on for a week, challenging it, you know, happened to be absolutely relentless. I'm not backing down, you know, I've got this license to trade, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, this overrules it, starting to talk about, you know, court and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, you know, I'm going to this Freshers Fair. I don't care. You know, I've put everything into this. Went to the Freshers Fair, set up, and we arrived at 8 o'clock. You know, bear in mind you're a one-man band there with a couple of your friends trying to sell hoodies, and you can hear this underlying murmur. The event was run by the Students' Union of, look, what are they doing here?
Wow.
X, Y, Z. And the Freshers' Fair opened at 10, and we got marched off at 9:45, closed the stand down.
Wow.
Took away all of our stock and escorted us off the premises. And that was pretty crushing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But we came back from it. It said, there's no way we're not. And we ended up actually, so Pulse Trading Group's our company. The Students' Union actually named their nightclub the Pulse.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting given a shop which we call Pulse Customised Clothing, Pulse Student Clothing.
Yeah.
And they gave us a shop for free for a year to make the piece. And we traded from there for a year. Then we took over all of their shops. So don't give up.
Nice.
As a startup, it's relentless. On the phone,
Yeah.
you're going to be nervous, shaking, sweaty, hot. You're going to have an opportunity to pitch.
Yeah.
Remember first pitches in the managing director of the Students' Union, and I'd got my little cakes out, my tea and that. I was nervous about it all day. He turned up, and I'm you just got to get through it.
Yeah. Do you still find yourself? I mean, when you're doing these deals now, a very experienced entrepreneur, do you still get that nervous feeling? Do you still get that maybe a bit of anxiety at all, or more excitement like? The next deal.
What I have now that I don't use. So when you all grow up, you're still finding yourself. So when I was in my 20s, I was still really insecure about certain things. Who did I want to be?
Yeah.
How did I want other people to see me?
Yeah.
And fake it till you make it. You have this expectation of where you want to be.
Yeah.
And push down. I wrote a blog, 30 Things I Learned by 30.
Okay.
Which it just went viral, and it was just huge.
Where can people find that?
Well, it was on my face. It's going to go onto the Property Entrepreneur website in the new year, or later this year. But it's on our. It's not actually published anyway. It just went out through social as a. Here's a little article to read. YPN picked it up. It got published there. We had 3,500 people read it in the first 24 hours.
Oh wow!
It was just really, really insightful. One of the things I realised writing that, and I'd recommend. Maybe put a link on your YouTube or something
definitely.
to it, or I'll make it more accessible.
Yeah.
One of the things I realised was, all those things are now my values, the things that I've learned, and I have this ridiculously non-arrogant sense of confidence now.
Okay.
I'm really content in who I am.
Yeah.
I don't feel insecure, and I can go into a meeting. When I used to think negotiation was cloak and dagger.
Yeah.
What's he got sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now it's just a case of sitting down. I want to achieve this. You want to achieve whatever. Let's honestly talk about each other's objectives and see if we can find a deal.
Okay.
And that's what I found. I feel probably in the last 3 years I feel like the most. I genuinely, for the first time in my life, feel 100% confident and content in who I am and the way I do things.
Great. Okay.
And including my shortcomings. I'll be if I make a mistake, I apologise. The way I go about my life now, I'm very happy with. And I look back at my younger days and really look back and think, I could have been a much better person then. But that's where I am now. So.
Yeah. And if you can, obviously you love business, I can tell that. What's one specific thing that you love about business and why?
Growth is the growth mindset for me. I'm always hungry. For the second I wake up in the morning, it's thinking of new ideas, listening to YouTube videos, different other people's insights in success, working with higher level people.
Yeah.
The sort of people we do deals with now. We did a deal last month. We made £200,000 just in 6 weeks, just through one contract.
Wow.
The deals we do now are a lot more higher value, and you're dealing with higher caliber people.
Yeah.
And you're genuinely sitting there talking about multi-million-pound deals.
Wow.
Where, that's
phenomenal.
That's I really enjoy that at the minute. Working at a higher level, and we had a conversation this morning. Have you seen The Founder, new film coming out?
No. With Ray Kroc.
I've not seen it, but two people have recommended it.
I've seen it. It's amazing. Really, really good.
Yeah. So
really
I'm going to watch that. We're talking about the reality of where we are now as a company is we're acquiring businesses. On Friday, you and I are at an event.
Yeah.
And off the back of that, somebody's approached us who wants to be acquired by Multilet. And
wow.
when we acquired a business last month, we're now doing deals where you're not buying a house.
Yeah.
You're buying a company or a series of companies. And that, we were talking this morning about Multilet. We're just consolidating and ironing the creases out from the last growth, and we've got about 6 to 9 months of that left, really making it remarkable again. But the reality is, this time next year, we'll be acquiring, 15 to 20 other businesses, and you just don't do that at a lower level, and that's really powerful when you can sit there and start to buy businesses. And
yeah.
That's what I'm really, as a business, we're really enjoying now is everyone in the team starting to build their own departments and build their own spin-off businesses. And
so you keep mentioning growth quite a bit. Have you read a book called Mindset by Caroline Dweck, or The 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth?
Yeah, that's one of my top 3 reads.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
read it 2 or 3 times a year. 15 laws. Yeah, 15 laws of invaluable laws of growth.
Yeah.
That, How to Win Friends, and The Art of Being Brilliant. They're my top 3. They're in our business plan.
Right. Okay.
And you have to read that. On the team, you have to read that.
Right. Okay.
Because that's
Yeah.
everything that's in there about growth. That's exactly how I think.
Great
Yeah.
stuff. And what would you say is kind of the best way for an entrepreneur to increase the growth of his business or businesses?
Yeah, so proof of concept. Get proof of concept. And get proof of concept, make sure it works. So do it once. If you're doing your first property or opening your first shop or whatever, do it once.
Yeah.
Maybe even twice. Let it run and really see how it works.
Okay.
Get a solid handle on, a few things we do on Property Entrepreneur is commercial balance. How does that work? The business model, the cost and revenue frameworks. Get absolute clarity over what you're scaling and then scaling it.
Okay.
Because if it's going well, the bits that are going well, like you're making sales, you scale that, you'll get more revenue. That's fine. But the other things is if you've got problems and you scale it, you'll have more problems. And if you've got service failure or inconsistency, and you scale those, you'll end up with more of them, and you don't want those.
No.
So it's like, this is why we use 4 seasons to every winter spot the problems, fix them, and then scale.
Right. Okay.
So I'd say get a solid business model is one, and when you're at startup level, it's all about organic growth, because you'll do that until you take a punt one day. You'll organically grow. You'll use, most entrepreneurs aren't in it for the money. You need money to a certain degree, but then it's more about purpose, value, visions, all of those things. When you're a startup, you still hand to mouth fighting for survival every year. You'll just organically grow, and you'll make little punts. Maybe you'll hire your first part-timer or your first full-time team member, and you'll start to see return on that. I would have, as a startup, now knowing what I know now, I would have employed quicker and sooner.
Okay.
Because I remember the first few people I recruited, I was like, am I ever going to see the revenue to pay their salaries? We're always recruiting now. Last year we recruited 20 new people, and you just think, as soon as you start seeing them as an investment rather than a cost, and your business model's solid, it will expand very quickly. And then also we use a model called forward funding.
Okay.
So multi-let this year, we had 3 offices, and we went from 3 to 7. Went from 450 units to 1,000. You can't do that level of growth organically. You have to forward fund. So it's like, right, at 1,000 units, you need an accounts department, a credit control department, a bookkeeping function. You need a customer service team, a maintenance team. You need a marketing function. All of these things you need, but you can't do it organically. You have to forward fund. So in our business plan, we put in, 6 figures of money that was going to be burnt, like is your burn rate. And then during the 12 months, the capital, the amount of money in the bank, every month would go down and down and down. So you put that money in knowing you're going to lose it, But the question is, are you going to see a return on it?
Right, okay.
So you lose it, and that's your burn rate, 20,000, 18,000, 17,000. And the burn rate goes down every month as the revenue goes up. And what you want to do is the revenue, obviously your growth revenue needs to come in before the money runs out. And multi-let, we had to make a little extension this year to give us another 3 months. But we made it, and that's your head's on the block for that. Forward funding is the quickest way, and when we open 20 or 15 or 20 offices next year, we'll be very much expecting that we'll have to put money in to open them. Donald Trump goes and puts in money to make money. It's exactly the same as that. Putting the money in, forward funding, and that gives you ridiculously quick
forward funding.
Growth.
Yeah, I've never heard that before actually.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one. And what would you say one of the main reasons why people fail in business?
Why they fail? Either just they're not nice people. I've seen a lot of, I've dealt with a lot of people before.
Right.
Success and failure is very predictable, ridiculously predictable. If you look at, you obviously get exposure to a lot of successful entrepreneurs, if you like. And you'll see some consistency across the board with the way they do what they do.
Definitely.
Success and failure is very predictable, and I can look at some people and say, for the best will in the world, you are not going to succeed at this. And it might be that they're not a nice person. You know, you should always be looking out for other people. You should be the last person. Leaders eat last.
Yeah.
And you should be the last person you're looking out for.
Leaders eat last. I like that.
Yeah, you should be the last person to. You're the last person to get paid. You're the last person to eat lunch. You know, everything. It's all about everyone else first. Your clients, your team, your suppliers. Amazing. You know, you need, and where people are out for their own. You know, and they're making mistakes. I see it all the time. And they made a mistake, and they're trying to penalise the client, or made a mistake and they're penalising the team. Bad people, you know, have to be a good person.
Yeah.
You know, good values, good honest integrity.
Yeah.
You know, some of my peers in our industry, if you like, that I've worked with and done business partnerships with, they're just great people. You know, they're just on the level, good values.
Like you said, you can see that in them.
Yeah. So the sort of person you are, I think, is really important. You're starting to see this new wave of entrepreneurs. It's not me, but this new wave of a lot of them are tech-based entrepreneurs where they're building up social followings, selling digital products, and that, you know, if the PR that they get is accurate, you know, I'm not talking about Snapchat and Facebook. I'm talking more about your one-man bands who are going out and doing online marketing campaigns and making £250,000 a quarter, selling whatever they're selling. I don't know. Yeah. There's them and they're going down a lot of the route of it's easy. That's not been my experience. You know, my experience is being an entrepreneur is hard work. And I think, especially in the early days, and it's hard work as long as you grow. Growth is hard work. Constant failure, you know, constant challenges. And as a managing director or, you know, a CEO or just the entrepreneur, your job is you have the honour of having this distilled bowl of the biggest problems at any one time that nobody else can deal with, and that's what lands on your desk, and you have to one at a time pick them up, you know, and deal with them. My experience, at least, has been it's very hard work, and I think the ones that succeed are the ones that are willing to grind and graft. That's, you know, there's other people that don't profess that as an entrepreneur, but that's my belief. My belief is you have to work hard. You know, if it's hard to create, it's hard to copy. If you want to go and do something that's accessible, you know, you're not really ever going to have an edge. Harder to create. It's hard to create, it's hard to copy. And if you're willing to put in, you know, 80, 100 week hours against a business that are doing, maybe each person's doing, say, 40, your progression's a lot faster. Yeah, definitely. And in today's age, it's exhausting trying to keep up. With technology, you know, you just look at Facebook, at all the things, you know, the highlight reel of Facebook of what other people are doing. Just trying to keep up is a challenge. If you want to, you know, we say you either you're either trying to keep up or you're getting ahead. Never, if we're like, look, they're doing that, we're never like, we need to do that. We're like, right, how do we leapfrog that? Yeah, okay, I like that. If you're trying to catch up, you know, you're already on the back foot. You look at them, right, they're doing that, that's really clever. You're always going to be chasing, I suppose. Yeah, and respect your competition. You need your competition to keep you on your toes. You know, it's really important. Have absolute respect for them. Don't badmouth people. Look at your competition as we talk about in our brand book, shaking hands with the competition like a professional sportsman. And we have a picture of, I forget the tennis players, but they're shaking hands and one of them's smiling and the other one's like, you know, I'm going to tear your head off. And the one who smiles wins. And it's like really important to respect your competition. Don't believe your own PR as well. Your PR is, you know, your PR is there to position yourself. The reality behind the scenes is we all have the same struggles. It's just always at a different level. So. Okay. And I mean, you seem like a very, very, very focused individual, but how do you get focused? How do you focus each day? How do you get in the zone? Yeah, so being very aware, like having a huge level of self-awareness and being very, again, it's all about strategy, being very strategic. We were talking before we started filming. I'd plan, and on Property Entrepreneur, all of our board members, we all, on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday Sanity, we all plan our week. And there's a very specific way to plan your week, how you plan your calendar. We have a thing called cave time, so we say about going to the cave. So there's a great video by John Cleese about creativity. It says you need space, time and time. You can't expect to be sitting at your desk, right, it's 9:15, I've got to be creative now. I'm going to be creative for 45 minutes. You know, you got to get out of the noise. I have like a number of different caves where I go where there's no phone signal. Take my journal, like I live. I'll have this with me like all the time. Every single business plan, idea we've ever come up with is in here. The future of all the companies is in here. And that's, you know, that's where the ideas come. 90-minute sessions, either somewhere where there's no phone, no email, no interruptions. You say that with it everywhere. Yeah, everywhere.
Wow.
You know, stop me anywhere, and and say, "Have you got your journal with you?" I always have my journal.
And that's just to capture ideas that pop into your head when you're in the shower or when you're driving, and
Yeah.
you just write down so
Yeah.
you never lose it.
Yeah, definitely. And I've got in my office at home, my study, I've got a shelf of all my old journals. You go back, like I was looking at one the other day from 2009,
Yeah.
and you're talking there about, I don't know whether to invest in this new printing machine. It's £900, and you're like, oh my god, as if that was my fault. That's it's really, it's basically you could publish these.
Yeah.
You could publish your journal, and you can see where you've come from, every product we've ever created. So yeah,
Wow.
being creative, allowing yourself to be creative. Understand the creative process.
Yeah.
The creative process is a 3-month process.
Yeah.
We run it October, November, December. All the creativity, the whole company's there. Looking after your body and your mind. So, understanding, like, I know when I'm burnt out for a little while, but 2 or 3 times a year I'll burn out.
Yeah.
Completely overcook it.
Yeah.
A deadline that's come in or a project that's gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I know when I'm burnt out. It's like I'll get blisters in my mouth.
Right, okay.
I won't sleep well.
Yeah.
I'll be unrested.
Yeah.
And it's just noticing that, and that's danger.
Right, okay.
At that point, back off.
Right, okay.
And you're normally fine when you go into burnout.
Yeah.
Again, success and failure is very predictable. If you're not exercising, you're eating badly,
Yeah.
your shirts are starting to feel snug,
Yeah.
all the telltale signs, it's just keeping an eye on that.
Okay. And in regards to, business is not always highs. It's not always, a lot of people would see yourself as the successful entrepreneur, but like you quite rightly said, is that they don't see behind the scenes, and things can go wrong. And I'm just wondering, how do you lift your kind of mindset out of the tough times when things do go wrong?
Yeah, so it's always going wrong. That's the thing. It's never finished, and it's always going wrong.
Yeah.
The objective is to be less wrong. Look at the things that are going wrong, and fix them.
Yeah.
So a business isn't like the success of a business is how quickly you can solve. So we talk about you have to spot a problem before it becomes an emergency.
Okay.
And in a fast growth business, that's always the job. In this new bit, this bit here is solid because you've been doing it for 5 years or 2 years or whatever, and it's nailed.
Yeah.
But it's this new bit of growth that your new team member, your new policy, your new system. Yeah. That's where all the problems come in. What was the specific question?
Basically, how do you kind of lift yourself out of your mindset out of tough times when there's, for example, in my business and something goes wrong, I don't know, with a tradesman not doing a particular job, and I'm like, oh God's sake, and I'm really like annoyed and pissed off that things have gone wrong, and I'm wondering, how do you, on your level, how do you get yourself out of that mindset to think, to lift yourself out of it?
So I genuinely not have this huge non-arrogant sense of confidence. It will work.
Yeah.
You can only fail if you agree to give up.
Okay.
And always think like that. When things are going wrong, I always think, have I felt like this before?
Yeah.
I always think, like, when it's dark, it's dark, you've got to have a difficult conversation, you've got a deal falling over, you've got, whatever, the dark days where it is dark and you're struggling to get out of bed because you've got problems to deal with.
Yeah.
When it's really dark, I always think, have I felt like this before? And then as long as it's yes, it's like, right, well, head down, push through, and just crack it. And the other thing is become completely neutral. I've had to work on myself a lot with regards to, for a number of times, flirted with becoming, having problems with suppression. So, when you suppress things, so as an entrepreneur, you have to become bulletproof. I'm like, if you told me now, touch wood, it's never happened, like something horrendous happened, a house had burnt down or something had happened to one of the team, it's just, I wouldn't feel emotional, I wouldn't feel panicked, I would just be like, okay, very logical.
Yeah, okay.
And that's really important as a leader, that you can handle the biggest problem. If someone comes to you and they're melting down, they don't need someone else to melt down, they need you to sit there, listen and be like, okay, I'll deal with it. And I can deal with anything, but you've got to be aware of what that does to you emotionally, because you can then become numb to emotion, which is quite dangerous.
Yeah.
If you become unempathetic or, you stop feeling emotions like excitement and love and stuff like that. Yeah, like a stone.
Yeah.
And one of the things I had to try for years was how to deal with pressure and stress. Mm-hmm. And that's, I've done that and dealt with it. My progression now is, for the last couple of years, has been to be in tune with my emotions without, being able to work with them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because that's really important when you've got a family and
Yeah.
you know, peers and stuff like that. You don't want to get caught up on this. We run in 12-month cycles so we can celebrate. Otherwise, you end up on this growth. It's, you know,
Yeah.
never big enough. It's
Yeah.
and that's not good for anyone.
No.
You've got to celebrate your successes.
Yeah.
And we say share your challenges, celebrate your successes.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone's got a challenge, put it out there, get it out there.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed like myself actually. When I'm kind of, I should probably celebrate a bit more when
Yeah.
I do certain things. When I don't, I just want to go on to the next thing.
Well, think tomorrow it could all turn to dust.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, in our industry, so we both do multi-lets.
Yeah.
If they bring in a restriction on whatever, we're starting to see it, room sizes,
Yeah.
council tax.
Yeah.
They brought something in which meant the business was over.
Yeah.
If you sat here, you know, Roger Hamilton says wealth's what left when all the money's gone.
Yeah.
The wealth is, you know, the journey and enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know, if you sat there and like, oh my God, you know, you're never there.
Yeah.
You know, there doesn't exist. As a high growth entrepreneur, there is, I want to make 100 grand a year, I want to make $1 million a year, I want to make 5 million. You've got to, you know, that never ends. That always moves. But yeah, definitely celebrate. We have a huge party every year. I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook, our Pulse party, garden parties, bucking Broncos.
Yeah.
Everyone just parties to the early hours.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, you know, it's all about that really.
Great.
Yeah, so it's very important.
Yeah. And that kind of goes with the culture, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, work hard, play hard.
Great.
Yeah, and understand that you can't have the same expectations for yourself you have for others.
Yeah.
When you're growing as an entrepreneur and you start to have, you have your first people who it's a job, if you like. Granted, it's a job they like and they enjoy, but they come in at the time they're supposed to come in.
Yeah.
They leave at the time they're supposed to leave. You know, they have their holiday and you're like, oh, this isn't what it used to be. You know, why aren't you up at 5 and working till 6? You know, that's, you know, why is that? But you've got to understand that, you know, that's your expectations of yourself, not.
Okay.
You should. It's not. You'll be consistently disappointed if you have those expectations of others.
So if you could have a 60-second conversation with your younger self,
Yeah.
when you're 18 years old, you can have a quick phone call with your younger self. What 3 things would you tell your younger self?
Be good to people would be one. You know, I learned a lot growing up about the way you shouldn't treat people. I've got very few regrets, and I won't share the ones that I do have.
Yeah.
But one of them was how I used to view myself and others when I was younger. So one would be to respect others and, you know, be a better person to others. That would be one.
Yeah.
You know, definitely in my, like, before 18, probably, like growing up, that was one. Fill your boots would be the second. Just fill your boots, enjoy it, like
Right.
enjoy it while it lasts in every capacity, because it doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, fill your boots would be one, and then probably take better care of your body. And you've got that balance. When you're growing up, you want to do everything.
Yeah.
You've got to go out, you know, everything, overindulge in everything, and that's great.
Yeah.
And it's easier to keep in shape when you're younger.
Yeah.
But you know, I've always looked significantly older than I am. Right. Which has worked well in business, like, but now I'm getting to the age I am, I'm like, I wish I looked a bit younger. And I think it's because I always say, people say, oh, you look a bit older than you are, sort of thing. I always say, oh, I had an uphill paper round, you know, I had an uphill paper round. But it's because I burnt the candle at both ends, you know, Monday to Friday I'd be on the site, doing the disco company in the evenings, be out partying, you know, drinking, just absolutely enjoying myself. And I think you don't see one of my good friends said, the decisions you make today about your health, you won't see the benefits for 30 years.
Yeah, of course,
and I do think that's very true. I made some decisions when I was younger that I've rectified now and will do me the distance. But I do think I probably did a bit of damage when I was younger. So look, you know, fill your boots but take it easy.
Yeah. Fill your boots. What do you mean specifically by fill your boots?
Everything
more fun.
Everything you should do as an 18-year-old. You know, lots of that.
Right. Okay.
Just enjoying it. Don't take yourself too seriously. Party.
Yeah.
You know, be a young lad. Do all of that stuff. And I did, but you know, I can never do it enough.
I mean, growing and building your company, did you ever have any of the, I mean, especially in your younger days, like haters and naysayers, kind of saying you can't do something, or maybe just people being very jealous of you? Did you ever get any of that?
I think at every stage of my life, I've looked at what do you need to do to be in with that group, and then go for the top. Mm-hmm. So now I'm an entrepreneur. So, you know, it's what do you do to be at the top of the best entrepreneur you can be. Yeah. And when you're at school, it's like you want to be popular kids. It's like, right, what do I need to do? This is the group of people. Yeah. What do I need to do that would position me at the, you know, at the top of that tree? So I've been very strategic there, and that was probably lack of confidence. If you want to be a popular kid, you look at what they're doing and you do a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't want to do. So there's that. I had one of the reasons I had a really bad experience in my final year of university, where on my placement towards the end of it, one of the guys came up to me. This guy, I won't describe him, but yeah, he'd been there a long time. He's probably still there.
Yeah.
And I remember standing by the opening doors and him saying to me, he said, "Oh, you're going to go back and get your degree? Like, what grade are you going to get?" And I was like, "I'm going to get first." And he was like, "There's no way someone like you can get. There's no way that somebody like you, from where you're from, will get a first-class degree." He said, "First-class degrees are for academics and geniuses." And he says, "You're neither of those."
Wow.
And I was like, "Fuck you." I was like, "What gives you? Why do you why do you think you can say that to me?"
Yeah.
And I already had this huge ambition of going and building this clothing company because I didn't want to be employed. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I had this giant issue to deal with that I had to now get first because this guy told me I couldn't. And I went absolutely, I went balls to the wall at it for a year. I started the clothing company, got my first class degree, but I had a story for another day. But I didn't realise I had glandular fever. Right, I thought I had tonsillitis. And for 3 months, I don't know if you know what glandular fever is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you're supposed to be in bed. Yeah. Don't move.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had it.
Yeah, well, I decided to go for a first class degree and start a business. So the idea of not getting out of bed, I didn't even go to bed. I was up at 3 reading journal articles.
Wow.
I was out and I did all of that, and I ended up collapsing basically collapsing, hallucinating, and then having a blood test. And they said, "Yeah, you've had glandular fever. You're just getting over it." And what the outcome of that was, I ended up having short-term memory loss and a thing called antiviral disassociation.
Oh, okay.
So I had to do I got my first class, I had to do my degree and the business and have short-term memory loss and hallucinations and disassociation. So mate, it was just relentless. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but I got my first. The clothing company, did really, really well.
Great.
So yeah, that was, but I don't have any, touch wood, we've been really reasonably cautious with our profile. I'm reasonably behind the scenes. Yeah. I've sales people who go out and do a lot of that. I'm trying, just try and be a good person.
Good.
And touch wood, we haven't, as of yet, as far as I'm aware, had any negative press, haters, naysayers.
Good. Good.
So long may that continue.
Great. And now a bit of a fun questions, a quick fire questions.
Yeah.
What's your favourite film?
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mate, watch that. The way it's written. Will what's his name? Who plays Will? Matt Damon.
Yeah.
He wrote that when he was I think in his 20s. If you're like a perfectionist, and you look at the attention to detail of that film, the way it's written, the way that the actors behave, it's just phenomenal. And it's just an amazing story. So yeah, amazing.
Favourite song?
Goes through stages. Probably at the moment, the most poignant is, so I like rap music. So Kid Ink, Miracle.
Wow.
If you listen to rappers' mentalities and the lyrics, some amazing rappers out of the minute. They're like entrepreneurs. They rap about where they've come from, what they want to be, hard graft.
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't materialistic, and they're the ones I really like.
Okay.
But yeah, Kid Ink, Miracle. Listen to the lyrics of that. That's a hard drive. Listen to that before I go on stage sometimes. Yeah, it was a big stage and a bit nervous.
Amped up.
Yeah.
Favourite place to travel in the world?
I'm not hugely travelled. Claire, my fiance, loves travelling, and I've been to some amazing places. Singapore was amazing. Okay. Stayed at Bain Marie Sands, in one of the best hotels in the world with the infinity pool. That was amazing. Bali's amazing. I love. I started going, or last year went to Cape Verde, the little islands there. Yeah. That's amazing. Just off Africa. Tourism's only been there 6 years. Bournemouth's probably my favourite. Yeah, Bournemouth, especially if there's a stag do going on. Yeah, Bournemouth's a little place that really get away. Yeah. Either with Claire on a retreat, or with all the guys all getting married now, and we've been going there every year for stag do's. So,
what is your pet hate?
Pet hate.
Pet hate.
not pet hate, but I can't handle negativity. Like,
Okay.
honestly, I just can't, it makes me feel ill. Like, one of my downsides is I'm too optimistic. I'm naturally optimistic. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm too positive.
Yeah.
Now, anything can go wrong, and I'll find a positive. That's the art of being brilliant. If you read the book. But pet hate, I can't handle negativity. That's one. And then little things. I'm very patient and neutral and everything, but there's little things that just set me off. A skipping CD, CD skipping, or if my phone's connected to my car, and I'm driving along and it starts to break up, I just can't handle it. Like things like that.
That's
just
funny.
tiny little things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so the ending question basically is explain to me what entrepreneurship means to you in one sentence.
I'd say using your gift, if you like. Some people call it a gift, like creativity, I believe. I don't talk so much about gifts, but that's what I'm good at. I'm very creative, and you can couple that with business, and it does really well. I'd say using your creativity, using your skill set, using your drive, your passion, your vision, using your skill set as an entrepreneur to add value to other people. Like, definitely, that's all. That's where I get my personal. It's not like I'm giving it all away to the world. It's like I get my satisfaction adding value to other people, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy then. And I'd say using your skill sets to add value to other people, making other people's lives better. I don't believe anyone should have to go to work, do a job they don't enjoy, and sell their hours for the rest of their life. I believe there's huge opportunity for people to really become the best they can be, and that's for me what entrepreneurship is: creating an environment where talented people want to work, they can make the best of themselves, and you genuinely add value to other people.
Amazing, that's really good. Well, I just want to acknowledge you for the amazing achievements that you've done throughout your life.
Cheers.
Building several successful companies, and I also wanted to say a massive thank you for your time today.
Oh, that's my pleasure. It's nice to sit back and look down memory lane. So thank you.
Oh, no
I wish you the best of luck.
Right.
Cheers.
Cheers, Dan. Thanks.
Cheers,
a lot.
Alex. Thank you very much.